So now the metabolic disorders associated with the amino acid phenylalanine and tyrosine we will see. So this is the degradative pathway, the catabolic pathway for the amino acid phenylalanine and tyrosine. This is the degradative pathway given over here for the amino acid phenylalanine and tyrosine. You know that phenylalanine is hydroxylated to tyrosine, and so phenylalanine and tyrosine have common catabolic pathway. This tyrosine is catabolized to finally fumarate and acetoacetate. First it undergoes transamination to para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate, then it undergoes decarboxylation and forms homogentisate or homogentic acid. Homogentisate by the enzyme homogentisate oxidase is converted to mallyl acetoacetate, and by the enzyme isomerase mallyl acetoacetate is converted to fumaryl acetoacetate, and this is glutathione is required as coenzyme or cofactor here. Now fumaryl acetoacetate is converted to is cleaved to fumarate and acetoacetate finally. So fumarate can enter into the citric acid cycle. Acetoacetate is helpful for the synthesis of ketone bodies. So that is why this is called as partly ketogenic and partly glucogenic, right? Now here you see I have mentioned the enzyme that is catalyzing the reactions, and what will happen in case of deficiency of this enzyme or absence of this enzyme. So absence of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase can lead to a condition called the accumulation of phenylalanine in the body. So phenylalanine in the body is immediately hydroxylated to tyrosine by the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. Suppose this enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase is absent or deficient in the body, what will happen? There is an accumulation of phenylalanine in the body. It leads to a condition called phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria. So PKU means phenylketonuria. So this phenylalanine accumulation results in the formation of excretion of phenyl keto compounds, or that is why this is called as phenylketonuria. Phenylalanine is converted to phenyl lactate and phenyl acetate. These are keto compounds. So these are excreted in urine. That is why this is called as phenylketonuria. This is called classical phenylketonuria. Deficiency of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase results in the classical phenylketonuria disease. Now here it requires, you know, that tetrahydrobiopterin enzyme is required for the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. So this tetrahydrobiopterin is regenerated by the enzyme dihydrobiopterin reductase. Suppose if this enzyme dihydrobiopterin reductase enzyme is there also there is no conversion of phenylalanine properly. So then also there is a possibility of accumulation of phenylalanine in the body. This is called atypical phenylketonuria. Actually phenylketonuria occurs because of the absence of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase, but in some patients because of the deficiency of the enzyme dihydrobiopterin reductase, phenylketonuria can occur. That is called atypical phenylketonuria. Then this tyrosine is undergoes transamination to para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate compound. This enzyme is tyrosine transaminase. The deficiency of the enzyme tyrosine transaminase, what will happen? It leads to a condition called tyrosinemia type 2. Tyrosinemia type 2 means accumulation of tyrosine and its concentration in the blood also increases, causing tyrosinemia. Okay. Now this para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate is converted to a compound called homogentisate by the enzyme para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate hydroxylase. Suppose if this enzyme is absent, para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate hydroxylase is absent, what will happen? The formation of homogentisic acid will not take place. Now this para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate is accumulated. Now this leads to a condition called neonatal tyrosinemia, because these are all inborn errors of the amino acid metabolism. So this can be seen in the newborns only. So at the time of birth itself, it is the deficiency will occur and the symptoms will reflect in the newborns. Okay. So this leads to a condition called neonatal tyrosinemia. Then homogentisate is converted to mallyl acetoacetate by the enzyme homogentisate oxidase. If the enzyme homogentisate oxidase is deficient, what will happen? There is accumulation of homogentisic acid in the body, or homogentisate is accumulated in the body. This leads to a condition called alkaptonuria. Now this mallyl acetoacetate undergoes isomerization to fumaryl acetoacetate, and fumaryl acetoacetate is finally cleaved to fumarate and acetoacetate. Suppose if the enzyme fumaryl acetoacetate hydrolase is absent, this leads to a condition called tyrosinemia type 1, or also called as tyrosinosis. So these are the disorders associated with the catabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. Okay, let us see the important metabolic disorders associated with this. Now, most important is phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria occurs because of the deficiency of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. This phenylalanine hydroxylase converts the hydroxylation reaction of phenylalanine to tyrosine. So, the deficiency results in the accumulation of compound phenylalanine. And this phenylketonuria, atypical phenylketonuria, can occur because of the deficiency of the enzyme dihydrobiopterin reductase. Dihydrobiopterin reductase can lead to a atypical phenylketonuria. So, because of the block of phenylalanine hydroxylase, there is accumulation. Again, there is a block in the dihydrobiopterin reductase can causes the accumulation of phenylalanine in the body. So, in phenylketonuria, what will happen? This phenylalanine cannot be converted to tyrosine, so phenylalanine accumulates. This increased phenylalanine levels in the blood is observed. Normal phenylalanine level is about 1 milligrams per deciliter. But in case of phenylketonuria, the phenylalanine levels in the blood increases more than 20 milligrams per deciliter. More than 20 milligrams per deciliter. So alternate minor pathways are opened. Alternate minor pathways are opened. Like phenylalanine is converted to phenylketone, that is nothing but phenylpyruvate and phenyl lactate and phenyl acetate. Phenylpyruvate is a keto compound. This phenyl lactate and phenyl acetate are also converted to phenylpyruvate. These are all keto compounds. Since these keto compounds are accumulated and excreted in urine, this condition is called as phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria, in short PKU. So phenylpyruvate is a keto acid which gets accumulated in phenylketonuria and excreted. So this is called as phenylketonuria, PKU. So what will happen in case of accumulation of phenylalanine? Phenylalanine undergoes transamination to phenylpyruvate and it undergoes reduction into phenyl lactate, or phenylpyruvate is further decarboxylated to phenyl lactate, and phenyl lactate is converted to phenyl acetyl glutamine. So accumulation of this phenylpyruvate and phenyl lactate, phenyl acetate takes place. These are excreted in urine. So since this phenylpyruvate is a keto compound and this is excreted in urine, the name phenylketonuria is given for this condition. Now if you see the clinical manifestations of phenylketonuria, the phenylketonuria child is mentally retarded with an IQ of less than 50. Now accumulation of phenylalanine in brain impairs transport and metabolism of other aromatic amino acids. In brain impairs transport and metabolism of other aromatic amino acids, tryptophan and tyrosine. So this accumulation of phenylalanine in brain impairs the transport and metabolism of other amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine. So the synthesis of serotonin, which takes place from the amino acid tryptophan, is this is an excitatory neurotransmitter produced from the amino acid tryptophan, which is decreased in the brain. So tryptophan is blocked in the brain. So what will happen? The tryptophan is not available for the formation of other compounds like serotonin, which is required in the brain for the excitation or acts as a neurotransmitter. In atypical PKU, means phenylketonuria, the deficiency of dihydrobiopterin reductase is there. It leads to a condition called hyperphenylalanemia, and decreased synthesis of catecholamines and serotonin is observed in case of atypical phenylketonuria. The child often has hypopigmentation because melanin synthesis is also impaired and explained by the inhibition of tyrosinase. So this accumulation of phenylalanine can inhibit the enzyme action tyrosinase. So as a result, the hypopigmentation can be seen in phenylketonuria patients. Now phenyl lactic acid is present in the sweat of the babies, so it may lead to mousy odor. This phenyl lactic acid gives a mousy odor, bad odor. So this can also be a manifestation. Now for identification of phenylketonuria, we have a test called ferric chloride test as a screening test. What we can do, we can collect the urine of the patient in a container, and this urine contains phenylketone. So this could be detected by adding a drop of ferric chloride to the urine. When you add ferric chloride reagent to the urine sample of phenylketonuria patient, the urine turns to blue-green color, which indicates is a positive test, because this phenylketones reduces the ferric chloride and gives this bluish green color, which is a positive. Now this early diagnosis and treatment by withdrawing the diet which contains phenylalanine can prevent mental retardation. So if it is observed very early, and if you remove the phenylalanine from the diet, so special diet has to be prescribed for such children. So removal of phenylalanine from their diet can cause can decrease the mental retardation of the child. Now screening test for phenylketonuria has to be done after the birth also. So prenatal diagnosis of PKU can be done by the restriction fragment length polymorphism is possible. So other things we have to consider is normal level we should see, and high levels are observed in case of PKU, and this can be seen in paper chromatography technique also. And another test apart from the Guthrie ferric chloride test, we have Guthrie test. So this is also a screening test. What will happen, certain strains of Bacillus subtilis need phenylalanine as their growth. What we will do in Guthrie's test, this bacteria cannot grow in a medium which is not present in phenylalanine. So you try to collect the urine sample and try to culture this bacteria in that urine sample. If the bacteria is growing, then that contains the phenylalanine. So the patient bacterial growth is proportional to the phenylalanine that is present in the patient's blood or urine. So like this also Guthrie's test, by using this Guthrie's test we can identify the phenylketonuria. So treatment includes early detection. You have to detect this very early so that you can give a special diet for them which contains low phenylalanine content, so that it will not get accumulated in the body. As a result, what will happen, the special diet is to be continued during the first decade. First 10 years we have to give the special diet for these children, so after which the child can have a normal diet. But lifelong compliance of special diet is advised, because the accumulation of phenylalanine can lead to any other change in the body. So alkaptonuria is another condition associated with the phenylalanine and tyrosine amino acid metabolism. So if you see the deficiency of the enzyme homogentisate oxidase causes the accumulation of homogentisic acid in the blood. So this is responsible for the disease alkaptonuria. So in alkaptonuria, what will happen, the deficiency of the enzyme homogentisate oxidase results in the accumulation of the homogentisic acid, which is excreted in urine also. So this is compatible with fairly normal life, but the only abnormality is blackening of urine on standing. So the homogentisic acid is oxidized by polyphenol oxidase to benzoquinone acetate. So it is then polymerized to black colored alkapton bodies. Homogentisic acid, which is accumulated in the body in case of deficiency of the homogentisate oxidase. So homogentisic acid is accumulated in the blood and it is excreted in urine. So the urine, when containing this homogentisic acid, what will happen? It is oxidized to the atmospheric oxygen by the enzyme polyphenol oxidase. By the enzyme polyphenol oxidase, it is oxidized, homogentisic acid is oxidized to a compound called benzoquinone acetate. This benzoquinone acetate undergoes immediate polymerization to form alkapton bodies. These alkapton bodies are black in color. So that is why urine of these alkaptonuria patients turns to black. So by third or fourth decade of life, patient may develop ochronosis. After 30-40 years of life, patient will have a condition called ochronosis. Means the deposition of these alkapton bodies in the intervertebral disc, cartilages of nose, pinna of the ear. Like this deposition of alkaptons takes place. This condition is called as ochronosis. Black pigments are deposited over the connective tissues, including joint cavities, to produce arthritis. So there is no specific treatment is required for this, but low protein intake with phenylalanine less than 500 mg per day is recommended. Okay. So diagnosis of alkaptonuria: urine becomes black on standing when it becomes alkaline. So blackening is accelerated on exposure to sunlight and oxygen. So urine when kept in a test tube will start turning to black color from the top. This is the diagnosis for alkaptonuria. Benedict's test is also positive for these patients because this is a reducing substance. So urine from a patient with alkaptonuria, if you do the specimen, initially it is like this, turning black color of your turning of urine to black color starts from the top, and slowly after 1 to 2 hours the urine completely becomes black in color, and this is because of the formation of alkapton bodies. Even when the patients can survive, there is no problem with the survival of the patient, and after 30-40 years what will happen? These alkaptones they accumulate in the body and they start depositing in the intervertebral discs, so in the joint regions, on the skin, these alkapton bodies are accumulated, so the black spots are seen in the cartilage, and cartilage of the patients is observed. Okay, so leukoderma and albinism, actually this is associated with the amino acid tyrosine. So the deficiency of the tyrosine because tyrosinase enzyme can lead to the decreased synthesis of melanin. As a result, white patches of the skin are formed. This is called leukoderma. Albinism, there is complete absence of the enzyme tyrosinase. So as a result, there is no synthesis of melanin. So the patients will appear like a Europeans, very fair in color. So that condition is called as albinism. Then hypertyrosinemia is also observed, means increased accumulation of tyrosine. This is because of the deficiency of the enzyme fumaryl acetoacetate and the tyrosinase enzymes. So the accumulation of tyrosine takes place, leads to a condition called hypotyrosinemias. Okay, this tyrosinemia type 1 and type 2 are there. So if you see the tyrosinemia symptoms, there is mental retardation will be seen, keratosis of palmar surface, then painful corneal lesions, photophobia, increased excretion of tyrosine and tyramine in urine is observed. Another disease which is associated with the abnormal absorption of these aromatic amino acids is called Hartnups disease. Hartnups disease. This is an inherited autosomal recessive disease because in these patients what will happen? The absorption of aromatic amino acids from the intestine as well as reabsorption of these amino acids from the renal tubules is defective. They are not absorbed properly in the intestine and in the renal tubules. So these aromatic amino acids are excreted in urine. It leads to a condition called Hartnups disease. In such cases, the patients will develop pellagra-like symptoms due to the deficiency of the synthesis of niacin, which derives from the compound tryptophan, aromatic amino acid tryptophan. This we have not yet discussed, we will discuss it in the next class, tryptophan. Today we have discussed only about phenylalanine and tyrosine. So the common manifestations in this include dermatitis and ataxia in case of Hartnups disease. So this diagnosis can be based on the amino acid urea, and increased excretion of indole compounds can be detected in the urine by Obermeyer test. Patients improve when put on a high protein diet with supplementation of niacin and minimum exposure to the sunlight. The patients can become normal with a proper diet and supplementation with niacin, and they should not get exposed to the sunlight because it can increases the symptoms, it can aggravate the symptoms. So this is about the disorders associated with the amino acid metabolism, phenylalanine and tyrosine.